Hi there, I'm Nathan Lawrence, and I work at the Missouri School of Journalism and at KBIA, the public radio station in Columbia, Missouri. I'm going to show you how to edit audio in a sort of effective and kind of cautious way on an iOS device. And we're going to start with that from TwistedWave, where if you are in J2150, you've already recorded your audio. So I've got this file called tracking that I've recorded into TwistedWave already. And let me just play that for you for a second.
Gabe. Danae Peckler is an architectural historian with the National Barn Alliance.
So it's just voicing, and this voicing is going to need some editing to sort of make it work for this project, but we'll do that together. So the first thing I want to do is think very carefully about what I could do to this audio if I just start messing with it right away. So say, for example, if we back out here, let's just take a look at this. It's 12 megabytes. We know how long it is, 2 minutes, 7 seconds. Well, say I just go in and I grab this, and now I say crop, which removes that audio from the file. Well, now if I back out, it's 1 minute, 8 seconds. I have lost information effectively here. And I still have some undo and redo functionality, but that's very limited in TwistedWave. So I have made a real mess of this situation for myself, and I have to be very careful about what happens next. So the smart thing to do is to carefully take this audio and put it out into the file system on your iPad so that you have that file available to you to do whatever you want later. If you need to pull that file back into TwistedWave Fresh, you can do that. If you need to pull it into another app, you can do that. And we're going to do this on each step of the process. So here's what that looks like. I'm going to open up Files here. And I've actually gone in, and in this case it's an iCloud drive, but you could do this on Box, and you could do this on Dropbox, you could do this in Google Drive. I don't recommend Google Drive as much because it's a little spotty. You could do this in OneDrive. Use whatever cloud storage solution you're most comfortable with and that you've got some space on. So I've made a couple folders here. You can ignore the pre-cut folder because we're not going to use that. But we've got raw audio and audio clips. And those two folders are both going to come into play as I'm sort of manipulating around this audio. And we're going to always come back to this built-in Apple Files app as a solution to sort of gather that audio together. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to go back into TwistedWave, and I'm going to actually edit out the first piece of voicing from this video. So that stops right about here.
Barnwood is so hot right now that it has its own show.
And that's the end of that. So I'm going to select it, and I'm going to make a new file from it. But before I do that, I want to take this tracking and save the whole thing out. So I'm going to hit Share. File name is tracking, that's fine. And I'm going to choose Open In, Save to Files. And then I'm going to use this file system stuff. This is all in the Apple Files interface. So this is like jumping into that app. And I'm going to go in, and Barnwood Audio, I've got raw audio right there. Add. We have now created a file that I'll be able to see in the Files app in a second, has been sort of secured and isolated. So now we're still working on the file in TwistedWave, but there's other backup exists. I'm going to select just the first 15 seconds or so of this now. And I could do all sorts of things that would just make this exist in this tracking file inside TwistedWave. I don't want that. I want to create a full new file that I can save out. So I'm going to hit Copy instead. I'm going to back out. I'll make a fresh file. 44.1 mono is the standard at the Missouri School of Journalism, but you could use something different if you really need to. This pops in, and I'm just going to hit Paste. And that's just my
Drive
clip.
anywhere out in the country, and you're likely to see lots of old wooden barns, empty and crumbling in place. For most farmers, these barns have lost their function. But for contractors and designers, there is some stuff worth salvaging. Old barnwood is so hot right now that it has its own show.
Perfect. So we've got this. It's called Document 1, though. That's not really useful. So I'm going to go in and rename this. I just touched the title. I'm going to call this Barnwood Voicing Intro. All right. Now it's going to have that name in TwistedWave, and the file inside TwistedWave is going to be like this. I'm going to export that out into the file system too, so that we have this sort of database of the files in the file system that we can always go back to at any step. So I'm going to hit the Share, Open In, Save to Files, and this time I'll put it in Audio Clips. Add. There we go. Now, we go back to Files, you can see Raw Audio has an item and Audio Clips has an item. Let's look in Raw Audio. There it is, tracking, same size it was in TwistedWave. And Audio Clips, there it is. And if we just open that up, inside Apple's player,
Drive anywhere out in the country, and you're likely to see lots of old wooden barns. And
there it is. So now we're ready to take these into a multi-track mixer, and that's what we'll do during the next video.